Yes, now good morning. It is Wednesday, the 10th of June, rest day today. 12 and a half weeks out. It's getting really exciting now. Because for me, before I even started prep, I knew that the 12 and a half week out area is where the real stuff will kick in. Also where I thought where it's going to be very, very difficult. But so far, no. Level headed. Just did my check-in as well. Looking good. I had a prep low yesterday at 77.6. So really starting to drop now. And I was 77.8 today. Well, I think it's just from information from legs as well. And pose and trunks came as well, and just did a round with those. Obviously a bit uncomfortable to get used to them, especially for me. It's fucking hell, basically just wearing a fucking thong. Feels weird, but won't build around too long. Just show you around a full day of eating today properly and see what happens. Okay, so just had my first meal and it was 60 oats, 20 grams of almond butter, 40 grams of whey, 80 grams of raspberries. So it's the exact same as my training day, except there's just a little bit more almond butter because for rest days I have a bit more fat. It's obviously just going to aid a bit of recovery. Your hormones after your body being under stress from training on for the last few days. When you're dieting, the rest day and training calories could be very, very similar, but like it's usually like when you're like in the off season where like the gap between your training days and your rest days are quite high. So yeah, and I actually just look forward to rest day eating now because I'm just the only thing I won't say I'm craving. I won't say that's the right word, but the food that I want to eat more are like fat sources. So like I'm wanting to eat like almond butter, I'm wanting to eat eggs, and I'm just looking forward to having eggs right now for my second meal because I'm only having eggs twice a week. So yeah, so funny enough, I finished my first meal and I'm still hungry. Who would have thought? That is reality of prep. You're never going to feel satiated, so don't chase satiety because that's how people binge or overeat. So I'm actually going to show you how I weigh my salt because I actually got asked this a few times. So I reset it. I have a bowl here. I take it out, get my salt, and then just keep sprinkling until you put it back in. You just see the little thing. Yeah, there we are. And people say, oh, why do you eat so much salt? Eating so much salt is bad for you. You're gonna give yourself all these health issues. It's bad for your blood pressure, cholesterol, all that bollocks, right? But like, with the amount of water I'm drinking as well, and your body needs the correct sodium to keep itself hydrated, and it needs the correct amount of electrolyte balance. You want to have your electrolyte balance to be as even as you can. So I'm having a good amount of potassium in my diet, so I need an amount of sodium to even with that, and plus the amount of water I'm drinking. I'm having like 4.5+ liters a day. So same with pink salt as well. I use pink salt because some salt sources have different amount of sodium than others, like low salt for example, sea salt to pink salt. Pink salt for me, it's kind of like half and half with the sodium intake. So if I'm having 4.5 liters, I have about 9 grams of pink salt. So that's my 2 cents, and I just split the salt evenly throughout my meals. So I already put 1 gram of salt in my first meal, so this is actually weighed out 8 grams for this, and then keeps it easier, not to worry about at all, and it keeps everything consistent. Also as well, I'm going to show a few checking photographs here. two pictures here. Because for context, right, I did a cut last year. It was 13-week prep. It was 4 photo shoot, right? I'm like same condition as I was for then than I am right now. And when I was in that condition last year, holy shit, I felt rough as fuck. I was so low energy. I was irritable, fatigued, starving. All I just thought was food, and I was just in bits because I was like burning myself to the ground all the way until the deadline. I didn't even take it easy at all. I didn't even take my last week a little bit more steady approach and just let myself kind of settle into like the peak, kind of like hold the fullness, try drop the fatigue a bit so you feel a bit more fresh, so the body feels a bit fresh. No, I didn't do any of that. I literally just buried myself all the way until 3 days out. I tried to do my own peak week protocol and I completely butchered it as well. Depleted myself even more, and then I tried carving myself up and doing like water loading bullshit, and didn't work. Peak did not work at all. I was not full at all. I was super flat and I was watery. So it's mad how when you kind of take your off seasons or bulks a bit more like properly seriously, you start off in a lot more lean position, and then when you get into like condition where you've seen yourself before and compare not just like yourself physically but also like mentally how you felt then, because right now I feel fucking great. I feel class, and I can't imagine feeling like death in death's door in this condition. That's nuts. Back in the kitchen, onto our second meal. We're gonna make our eggs and sourdough. So I have my egg whites here. There's not enough, so some of them I'll just have to get out of the egg, which is a little bit tricky, but here, look, here's what it is. I think there's only, so say you need to get about 4 something eggs out of this. So what you usually do is this, you just crack it and just take the egg white out, and hopefully the yolk doesn't fall in. Yeah, so just under 200 ml from the eggs, because I only just have enough for 3 more, because I add 3 full eggs in, and then I have my sourdough with that on the side, and it's just 80 grams, so I think it's about 3 or 4 slices, depends on the quantity of it. That's why it's hard to like prescribe a meal plan to someone with like going off by slices, because so many have different like, I don't know, like sizes and stuff and cuts of it. So it's awkward enough with grams, but like for me, I don't really give a shit too much, so it doesn't cause too much issues. And also those aren't even my eggs, so definitely need to run to shop and get a few and put them back in, because I don't want any upset members in the house from stealing all the eggs, so I have to do that as well. Oh, look at that. Look at that, 3 slices on the button. On the button. So I was right, it was 3 slices. Sometimes it's like 3.5 or 4, but as I said, depends on the cut of them. Here we are, look at that, lovely stuff. So here we are, second meal. Look at that. Lovely. Fucking lovely. Cannot wait to tuck into this. As I said, that is what I'm like thinking about the most so far with these meal plans. And then definitely not my second caffeination of the day. Also, I forgot to even mention calories. So like for training day, it's approximately 2,520 calories. Then rest day is like 2,420. So just over 2,400 calories is today. So never had in my life. do I love eggs at the moment. Because there was a phase of me where I was eating eggs, like 6 eggs every single day, and got sick of it. But like now, getting this deep into prep, oh, just fucking love it, loving it. And I just know for like my next food drop, it'd either be like 1 egg gone or 2 eggs, it depends. And I'm only quite upset, but it's all temporary. I forget a few bits. Only have to get the eggs as well, and then I'll be working for the rest of the evening then. So I'll try see if I can film anything between then, and we'll go from there. I'll try get at least like videos of like the meal. Okay, so I'm literally rushing out the door now, waiting for my last meal to fucking finish up, which is my potatoes meal. So I have my meal number 3, my chicken, rice, and my almond butter, which I just had, with low sugar, low salt, barbecue sauce, which at this point in the stage of prep, any sort of sauce I put into my food is going to taste lovely. So got my poverty portion of 60 grams of rice. Is what it is. It's been like that for a while though, but goat rice now is Thai jasmine. I was like a basmati person for a bit, but I think jasmine takes the cake for me, to be honest. And yeah, I'm gonna tuck into this nicely and then shoot off as soon as those potatoes are done. So I'm probably gonna hoover in this meal, which isn't optimal for digestion, but is what it is. But oh well, it's my own fault for rushing. See this, yeah? Chips for dinner every single day. Cajun seasoning, oregano, salt, pepper, and then just cut your red or white potatoes. That's literally what I've been doing for the whole entire prep, like, and it's just basically like having chips for dinner. And I know like potatoes as well, it's also like one of those carb sources where it's really good for like when you get really deep into a deficit. Like when I'm like going low on food, like I even know like sub 2,000 calories, I would prefer to have like potatoes for every meal, every carb for like my carb source. But I've always had potatoes every day anyway, so won't make too much of a difference. But that's my 4th meal there. I'm obviously not gonna have it now because I'm just about to leave, and we'll see where we're at from there. I have to do cardio as well because I didn't do cardio this morning, so I have to do cardio before I do a bit of work, or maybe after. Actually, yeah, no, after. Fuck it, late one. Something I've started doing over the last week is simply writing more throughout the day. So like when I'm out getting coffee or in the morning, first thing after I wake up, is I just write down my thoughts and anything that's on my mind recently and how I can resolve them or move around it, because it's almost like opening up to yourself, because it takes more time and like energy mentally to write down things than just like thinking about it, if that makes sense, you know? So if I'm like taking some, even though it's like it's super minimal, but it's still effort to write down how you're feeling, because you have to be more orchestrated and want to word it properly and make it more sense. So once you actually write it and then you actually see it, then you'll be actually able to understand what it actually is, and you'll actually then learn properly how you can move around it, or how to overcome or do what you're writing to do. So I've been literally trying to do that first thing in the morning, or when I'm just free, opening around, and It's just simple, just like notes. And it might just sound a bit mental doing that, like why the fuck would you do that? But for me, with all like the random thousands of millions of different thoughts and running through my head, just simply doing those type of things hasn't actually been helping a lot recently. So that's a little thing I like to, that's my piece of advice for this video. Right, we are back home and just having this little treat, strawberry sunrise oxy shred, 0 caffeine. Tastes fucking delightful. And yeah, just gonna make my last meal there now. I am fucking starving because I had my 4th meal quite early, like an hour and a half early than usual. So is what it is. Did my cardio as well post, so got it done, boxes ticked, and then that's nothing else to report. Well, then here we are, meal number 5, my dessert. As I said yesterday, the cream of rice is gone. No more cream of rice with this meal, so it's just the 250 0% Greek yogurt, 100 grams of frozen fruit, mixed berries, 15 grams of whey, and 20 grams dark chocolate. I can't even make a whey paste as well because I don't want to just have plain Greek yogurt and then have a whey paste on top of it, because you're not really having a mix. So I had to mix the whey in, but tuck into this nice and slowly, because if I hoover this in too quick, I'll just be starving still. So I want to appreciate this last meal very much. And also sweet sugar, cinnamon on the top, as always. Alright, how are we looking after 5 meals and 4.5 litres of water? Still feeling pretty full and watery, but it's the end of the day, so of course I'm going to look like that. You don't look your best at the end of the fucking day, so I don't really care too much. But I'm actually going to sit down properly and have a chat about a few tips. Actually, I won't say tips, but like insight about the hunger and potential cravings you could get when you're on a prep or a big deficit. All right, the pedophile glasses are on, so that's when you know when it's serious. So what I want to talk about is regarding, let's say, managing hunger, potential cravings, etc., right? And what advice, how to fix it, but also how I'm feeling with it. Because I'm not gonna take the fucking piss here. There's gonna be some stages so far where I was a little bit hungry than before, where I was like, oh, I really want to have this next meal now, or I'm craving a bit more food. But the only food is just more of the same food, not like I'm craving burgers or pizza and all that shit, right? But there's also some days where I feel fantastic. I'm actually not hungry in the slightest, because to be fair, from the everyday average person, right, to them, they're probably thinking I'm hungry every single day, because I think I am always a hungry person. Like, I feel hunger every single day. Technically, I do. And when I was like peak off season, like 4,000 plus calories, my appetite was so high, I could still probably eat twice the amount of what I was eating then. So no matter what stage of phases I was in, I was always fucking hungry. So I find that's a good thing as well. It just shows me how that my body is very responsive, and it's just like a machine absorbing everything. So that's a good thing I like. But managing cravings, or how to fix cravings and hunger. Well, for mainly with hunger, right, first off, I say to people and I say to myself, you are actually not hungry. You're not starving. It's just your body to drive for more food, if that makes sense. Like, you are eating 5 to 6 meals a day, nutritious. You're getting a lot of water as well, and you're having a very good variety in your diet. There are people in the world that would chop off their fucking arm to get a quarter of what you're eating every single day. Like, you're not hungry. Your body is just driving for more food. And it's all temporary. You're going to feel fine in the next few weeks, a few months. Your goals should mean a lot more than your fucking emotions, because it's the build-up of wanting something that's like you're craving is probably more fulfilling than actually eating it, because when you eat it, you're just gonna feel like shit. So there's that. And also, if you're thinking of hacks or little cop-outs to help your hunger, it's just gonna make things worse, because you're just gonna end up craving more sweet stuff more and more and more, especially if you're downing like liters of zero sugar drinks every day, or having too much of a high variety in your diet. Because if you have too much variety, you're looking for other types of meals to keep you satiated or keep you, I don't know, in a better mood. But number one, it's going to take too much time. Number two, it's going to create like a wormhole that you want other things, and that could eventually mean more food, like more quantity of the food. So just keep it simple, and don't be looking at the hacks and cop-outs, because it's not going to do you any favor. It's not going to build you any resilience or strength in order to fight through it. You're just kind of just surrendering yourself, especially when you're quite early into like a deficit. So for me, just accept that it's always going to happen. No matter what, you're going to be hungry. Like, it's impossible to not feel hunger. If you're not hungry, then you're clearly not, you're doing something wrong, in my opinion. So that's really what I have to say with that. And as well with cravings as well. As I said, you're eating a good amount of food, and you are in a very fortunate position to be able to do this as well. You're very fortunate to do something like this, like a prep. Don't waste that advantage. And even if you're craving something, right, I do this method. Open the door, open like the cupboard or something, open the fridge. Ask yourself, say this 4 times. Do I really, 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 really want this food? You are 100% going to say, no, I don't. You're going to think, why did I even ask myself that question? Obviously, I do not want it. Just take a step, breathe, take a good few deep breaths, take a step back, and actually think, why am I even thinking like this? This is all in my mind. And also, as well, another tip, just appreciate the food you're eating. Just eat your meals. Don't rush it. Just, especially when the last few bites come in, just really think to yourself, am I able to feel like this for the rest of my life? Think about, that's the delusion I actually ask myself. Or when I'm good, when my meal is nearly finished. Can I actually live like this? You can. You can. Just appreciate every bite. Actually take the time to digest it. And then go from there. The one last thing as well, hydration. Hydrate yourself. I make sure to get about 2 to 2.5 liters of water before I even eat my first meal, and a good amount of fluid in between each meal, because majority of the time you're not hungry as well. You're actually just dehydrated. Like, make sure you have enough salt in your meals as well. You probably could be dehydrated. You need enough. Your body probably doesn't have enough electrolytes. So hydrate yourself. Hydration is more important than food anyway. So there's that. But that's really my 2 cents of it. I'm always hungry, to be honest. When I was 28 weeks out, peak bulk, I was still hungry. I'm still hungry just now. It's just gonna be a matter of time until I'm like 5 or something weeks out where I'm going to be absolutely fucking cooked. But I've been through that. I done a prep last year where I was eating stupid low food, 1,700 calories, doing hours cardio every day, because I started the prep way too fat, so it was all my own fault. But it gave me the learning experience how to go through the management of like fatigue and food noise and everything. But at the end of the day, it's your choice. No one's actually forcing you to this diet. Go and eat your Big Macs, go and eat your fucking chocolates, do whatever you want, it's your choice. But at the end of the day, you've chosen to do this prep or this diet, just stick with it, it's temporary. And if you're already in a situation where you have a bad relationship with hunger and food, then you shouldn't even be doing this in the first place. And one last tip as well, if you're talking to people or having conversations or even talking about it online, that, oh, I feel so hungry all the time, or I don't know how to go through this with all this hunger and food focus. If you're constantly talking like that, you're basically just feeding into it. Excuse the pun, you're actually feeding into it that you're starving all the time, and it's gonna make it worse for you. Just say fuck that thoughts, fuck that type of noise. Just say you feel grand, you feel fresh. I'm not hungry. My body just wants fuel, but I'm not actually starving. So take that as you will. That's my little lecture / rant about hunger and fatigue. Not fatigue, cravings. But that's basically it for the rest of the video. I don't want to leave this too long, and I don't know when my next video will be out. There's not really much explanation. Maybe if I'm a little bit leaner, might do a full check-in, like physique update, I guess. Gotta go through that, do a bit comparisons. Yeah, I might do a comparison, yeah, fuck it. But I'll sign off. And just don't be a fucking pussy with your hunger.